Hello and welcome back to the part 2 of the Rhino tutorial for the egg crate waffle architecture. So at the end of part 1 I had you copy and paste and then hide the surface from the first tutorial, but what I think is better if you go back a few steps and get your surface back onto your planes with the cross-section curves that we used to create the surface, and let's copy and paste the whole thing. So we copy and pasted the whole thing, drag it away, and then I'm going to hide this. That way I have everything still stacked up exactly the way that we made it. And now I'm going to go through and delete the things that I don't need, which are the original curves that we used to make the surface and the surface itself. So now that I've deleted that, what I'm left with are just my intersecting planes, right? The shell of the surface that I made to create the egg crate waffle. So now I'm going to copy and paste the entirety. So there we go. I have two of the exact same things, and this is going to be important because I'm going to need both of these sets. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both of them, and I'm going to use the intersect command. There we go. And what the intersect command does is it creates a curve at any place where two things intersect. In this case, it's planes. So every place where there is an intersect between these two planes, you'll find a curve right there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my two versions, and I'm going to select all of the ones in the X direction first. And you notice how I'm selecting the entirety, not just like this. If I select just that and move it, all I'll get is that plane. That's not what I want. I want the planes plus those intersection curves. So I'll do that, and as I'm holding shift, I will select the rest of them, move them up, and as I can see now, they have the intersect lines with them. So once I do that, I can delete, and then I'm going to do the same over here, but for the other set. Again, holding shift so I can select multiple objects at the same time. Then I'm going to drag them up, take a look in perspective just to make sure. Yep, I got my intersection lines. Then I'll go ahead and delete those. Great. Again, I might as well copy and paste, drag, and then hide. So now that I have these, I want them all to be flat. So, I mean, they are flat, but they're turned into a different perspective. So what I'll do is I'll take my gumball, and while holding shift, I'll move them in increments of 90 degrees, flat, and then I'll take, again, selecting the entirety of the shape so I don't miss any of those small little curves. I'll drag them out so I can see them better on my construction plane. Next, what I'll do is I'll select all of them, and making sure to be in my top viewport, that's really important, I'm going to use the project to C-plane command. So project to C-plane does exactly what it sounds like. It's going to flatten these, project them all to the C-plane. And the reason I want to be in top view is because it projects them onto the C-plane in whatever viewport you're in. So I don't want my original input objects. It's going to copy them, so I can say yes to deleting the objects. Then there you have it. Look, nothing changed in the top view, but as we can see in the front view, they're all flat. I'm going to do that to this set of planes as well, but I'll need to go to the right view, turn, hold shift. Oops. There we go. And then I'll drag them all separately. I don't like how they're, it's hard to, it was too hard and confusing to see them. So I move them, shift, there we go. making sure to select the entirety of the object again. I'll spread them out so it's nice and easy to see them all. So as you can see now in the top view, they're all nice and organized. The last thing I need to do is also project these onto the C-plane. And then I'm done with this step. Now I can just go into just my top view. And what I'm going to do is, so right now I have a plane and a curve, right? I have this surface and then I have these little curves. Well, I want everything to be in curves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of the surfaces by typing in select surf. Highlighted all of my surfaces. I'm going to go to curve, curve from object, duplicate border. And what that did is it created a curve that's the exact replica of the border of all of my surfaces. So now that I have that, I'll do the select surf again, and I'll delete all of my surfaces. So now I'm left with just curves and curves. I'll copy and paste what I have, drag them somewhere, and then hide them. Right? So now I can step to the third stage of the process, but before I do, let's just take a look at all the different things we have here. And again, it's important because you might find that you need to back up a few steps, and it's really hard to do that sometimes with Command Z, but it's really easy to do if you've been copy and pasting along the whole time. So stay tuned for part 3 of the Egg Crate Waffle tutorial.